Be sure to tune in at 4:30 Eastern Time on Wednesday here on NHL Network as we will have the 2020 Hockey Hall of Fame induction announcement. We look forward to this each and every year, and of course this year is no different despite the pandemic. Take a look at some very notable returning candidates who are eligible to get the call to the Hall, and there are some very big names on this list. Everybody waiting to see if this will indeed be the year they go into the Hockey Hall of Fame up there in Toronto. So, Johnny, when you look at this list, who do you expect to get the call?
I'm going to make the day some guys who've been waiting for a little bit to get this call. So I'm going to start my selection with Daniel Alfredsson, longtime Ottawa center. He won the Calder Trophy Rookie of the Year. He came in with a bang. He was such a consistent two-way player. You cannot discount how great he was away from the puck. Fourth in points per game from 1997 to 2010. Fourth, he was ahead of, only behind Jagr Sakic and Joe Ford. That's how consistently great he was. One of the best for that entire era, and a terrific international player as well. So Daniel Alfredsson, he gets my vote. Next up for me, Alexander Mogilny. This guy was lightning on the ice. He was so fast. He came in the NHL, scored goals at will, skated better, shot better than so many players we'd seen before him. And you think about Paul Kariya. Paul Kariya, no-brainer Hall of Famer. Well, he's got more goals, he's got more points, and almost the exact same number of the game. And oh yeah, he won the World Juniors, the Olympics, the World Championship, and a Stanley Cup. I don't know how we can keep Alexander Mogilny out of the Hall of Fame any longer. He's got to go now. And my third guy, Keith Tkachuk. Big Walt, to me, still deserves to go. 538 career goals. That is 33rd all-time, guys. 31 of the 32 guys ahead of him are in the Hall of Fame. The only guy who's not is currently active Patrick Marleau. Every retired player goals who scored as much as he has or more is in the Hall of Fame. Scoring goals is the hardest thing to do. He played in an era where it was harder than ever to do it. I think he deserves recognition for being as great at that as he was. So my guys, Alfredsson, Mogilny, Tkachuk, they deserve the call this year to the Hall of Fame.
On my list, I have Alexander Mogilny as well. I mean, you mentioned it, Johnny, triple goal club. There's not many guys that are a part of that group. He is 76 goals in 92-93. I remember as a kid, I was about 12 years old, and I remember watching and thinking, oh my gosh, who is this guy? And so he's fantastic in what he's done in his career. So I think this, for me, Alexander Mogilny is one, and the other one for me is Patty Elias. Let me start it with this. I did not play with Alexander Mogilny. You see him in the Devils jersey right there. So don't say I'm being a little bit too much of a home team favorite, but I'm going to show a little bit of that with Patty Elias, because you know what, Patty Elias was one for me where he's won 2 Stanley Cups, 1,025 points, 1,025 games played, so he's a point-a-game guy. And Johnny, you know better than anybody, when you're looking at this league, if you're playing in New Jersey and you're scoring 92 points, I don't know, the exchange rate of playing for another team where you're allowed to play offensive hockey in those years, that might be 120 points. So, I mean, Patty Elias is one for me that took a sacrifice to his personal attributes for the success of the team. If that guy's playing anywhere else in a big market, as far as with the New York Rangers, who he turned down a massive deal with at one point in his career to stay in New Jersey, those two guys for me, I think, are guys that deserve that Hall of Fame nod.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree Patrick Elias, a Hall of Fame human as well. Such a good guy and someone that you root for. So we'll see if he indeed gets the call this year. But how about the guys who are eligible for the very first time now in 2020? These are some big names, folks. We've got Jarome Iginla, Marian Hossa, Shane Doan, and Brian Campbell. Rupert, who do you think on this list is a lock to go first year eligible?
Well, just kind of what you mentioned about Patty Elias. I mean, if you're talking about if this is a Hall of Fame for greatest humans ever, Shane Doan is in there on the first try. So, I'm picking I think Jarome Iginla for me, and Marian Hossa nudge him out a little bit. And the big thing for me was the goals that Jarome Iginla scored, the type of player that he was, and the way he played, and how important he was to that franchise there in Calgary. He was awesome. He was that blend of just toughness, straight up and down hockey with an overpowering shot, that would just simply beat goaltenders on shots that you wouldn't normally see guys beating goaltenders with. So he was awesome, and he obviously bounced around a little bit at the edge. But Marian Hossa is another one that I think this guy kind of changed the game a lot. I remember in 2003, this is the one single guy I ever saw stand up to Scotty Stevens physically. And you may not think of that with Marian Hossa, but in playoff hockey, he turned into an absolute bulldog. And he was so good on both sides of the puck. He was awesome.
Yeah, you're right, Rupper. I agree with both those guys. I think, again, there's a lock, the 600-plus goals. We know he's going in no matter what. And also, it's a Hockey Hall of Fame. He was great in junior. When he played in Kamloops, he was on a dynasty and a great player there. And Marian Hossa, sometimes I think players kind of do know the best players when you play against them. And Marian Hossa was one of the best players that we ever played against, Rupper. He was so good away from the puck. And you mentioned it. So sneaky, deceptively strong. Now, he would apply that strength in a different way, but he was a tank out there, an incredibly physical player, great defensive player, could be a conscious with other offensive stars. We remember him going to the Cup all those years in a row, not getting there with Pittsburgh and with Detroit, but finally with Chicago where he found a home. He was just a great player. And Donor, you know I love you. I played with you for a long time, and you're right on the edge, but I think you're on the outside looking in right now, playing 20 years for Arizona and piling up all those great stats. And you're talking about the reason why a franchise is still around when you talk about Lemieux and Crosby. Well, he had some of the same effects in the desert, some of the grind that he had to put in to keep that team up and running and afloat. So, Donor, I wish I could vote for you right now, but there's only so many guys we can pick. So, Shane Doan, I think probably just on the outside looking in, but close nonetheless.
One thing I want to throw in there too. Sorry, Jamie. One thing I want to throw in there as well is when we were talking about Marian Hossa, it reminded me of someone as well that maybe if you spoke to the players would give such a high stand for. We always hear Pavel Datsyuk was one that the players said, hey, this guy is one of the greatest in the game. The only thing that went against Hossa is for a lot of those years, that's when Pavel Datsyuk was in the league. I think this guy amongst his peers would be considered an absolute horse out there. All those guys are great names. Yeah, you're right. Shane Doan. Man, he's kept that team there, and that's talk about loyalty. Shane Doan's got loyalty written all over him.
We'll see whether or not he gets a call Wednesday. The announcement coming at 4:30 Eastern Time on NHL Network.